Welcome to week 3 of our 16 Weeks to Wellness program. Today and for the rest of the week, we are completely focused on sleep. So, you might be thinking, oh, why are we talking about sleep? This is a nutrition program. Well, let me tell you guys, if you don't get the sleep that your body is craving, it affects all the systems of the body, including your weight, including your mental health, including your ability to detox. So that's why it's really early on in our program. We've got to focus on sleep. Now, I know for me, the healthier my diet got and the cleaner I started eating and the less toxins I put into my body, my energy went up and up and up. And I felt invincible. I was only in my late 20s, so I was still very young. I guess I still am. I'm like, mid-30s now. But I remember distinctly bragging about how little sleep I now needed because I was so healthy. And I would be saying, oh, I don't go to bed till 12 or 1 because I'm just, doing my thing and get up at 5 and do my 5 a.m. club. And I would be bragging that I got 5 or 6, 6 hours maximum sleep every night. I wish I could go back and shake that girl. Because when you're sleeping, this is where your body is repairing. And so many of us, all of us, have repair that needs to be happening every single day. So to understand how your sleep cycles work and why you need to get to bed early, let's focus on our hormone, melatonin. So melatonin, this is our sleepy hormone, okay? And it works in opposition to our cortisol, which is our stress hormone that's keeping us awake. So I've talked before about the adrenaline and stress response that's in a lot of our modules. I always talk about this as when we're stressed and busy and rushed, adrenaline kicks in to give you energy. This is like go, 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 and it's like fire in the body. It's very inflammatory. So the body, in its infinite wisdom, creates cortisol to dampen the effects of adrenaline. But these are the things that are making us just go, go, go. And when we're not eating or when we're under stress, this is what's giving us our kick to our drive to keep going. Now, cortisol works in opposition to our melatonin. So when we're going to bed, our circadian body rhythms are all flowing, I suppose. Like when we all maybe have ones that are a little bit unique to us, but generally speaking, our melatonin, which is our sleepy hormone, it's peaking at about 10 o'clock at night. Between 10 and 11, that is peaking. And then if we stay up past that, so in this time, basically, if we're not in bed by 10 and falling asleep by 11, what happens then is melatonin starts to drop off. And because we're still awake, the body goes, okay, well, we're not resting. We need to get some energy from somewhere. Then cortisol kicks in again. So as melatonin falls, cortisol increases. And now if you're pushing out till 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning and you think, oh, I'm so great because I've got all this energy is coming from your release of cortisol. And as a young person, we have so much reserves. We're not burnt out when we're in our 20s. But as we get into our 30s and 40s, which are most of my client base, us women in particular, we're exhausted because we've got children. We've maybe been up half the night with babies. And then we want to stay up late to give us some me time. Seriously, who can relate? Mums, kids go to bed and we think we really should go to sleep. But I don't want to go to sleep because now's the time I can maybe watch a show or I can talk on the phone or write in my journal or whatever we want to do. And we stay up too late to get that me time. I get it. I've had 4 kids. I totally get it. But what we do here is if we routinely do this and this becomes our new norm, what our body does, melatonin rises, but then it just drops off because the body knows it's got to release cortisol because you're going to be awake till 1 o'clock in the morning. Now, when this happens day after day after day, year after year after year, what happens now is your adrenals, which are the glands that are responsible for pumping out the adrenaline and the cortisol, they become exhausted. And this is probably up to probably stage 3 adrenal fatigue is when the adrenals, or even into stage 4, they're not producing that cortisol to wake you up. So at about 6 a.m., guys, ideally what's supposed to happen is your cortisol should be the highest at about 6 o'clock in the morning. And this means you wake up and you feel refreshed. How many of you wake up feeling like you've been kicked in the head? This could be because your melatonin and cortisol have been a little bit messed up over too many years of going to bed really late, or maybe of having children that wake you up all night, these systems can become messed up. So if your cortisol isn't spiking in the morning, and if you're lying there thinking, oh my gosh, like I literally feel like I'm dying, then how we can start to rectify this is bringing your bedtime back to 10 o'clock. And if you're someone that's going to bed at 1, you want to bring it back just slowly, because otherwise you're going to be laying in bed at 10 o'clock, just laying there for hours because your body thinks it's awake time and it's still releasing cortisol. So I will take it back 15 minutes, 15 minutes, 15 minutes over weeks until we can get into that state where we're going to bed. I try to get to bed at like 9:30. It doesn't always happen. Get to bed at 9:30, and then I might do some yin in my bedroom. So maybe some meditation, maybe a bit of yoga. I've got my Shakti mat, which is like this spiky mat that you lay on it and you feel like, oh my gosh, that's so painful. And then you relax into it. And sometimes I fall asleep on this thing because it just releases pressure points and it helps you to get into bed and to fall asleep. So I want to keep this pretty short, but if you are go, and oh my gosh, it's 10 o'clock, 10:30, I've got to get into bed, you lay down, why can't I fall asleep? You have literally not given your brain any time to adapt that now we're going to bed. So that's why, guys, your pre-bed ritual, it's really, really important. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. For me, it might be doing a few minutes of yoga, maybe. That's my ideal, but it doesn't always happen. If I don't do that, next one is just to lay on my Shakti mat for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, maybe. And if I can't do that, it's just spending a few minutes meditating in my bedroom, saying my prayers, being grateful for the day. And then I put on my salt lamp, which is really dim. It's not super bright because that bright light, that white light, is what's switching off your melatonin. So if you're someone who watches TV in bed and you fall asleep to the TV, you're not going to rest super well because that bright light is still impacting your melatonin. So, the last half an hour of your day, I would, if you can, an hour, you want to get off all your devices, all your screens in that last hour before bed. So say 9 o'clock, no more screens. Then you're going to do some nice yin and maybe read in your bed, talk to your husband, talk to a friend, whatever you want to do, but it's ideally not in a bright light. And this will help to save your sleep. So once we can get back into that pattern where we are getting those 8 hours of quality sleep, this is where the body can really start to repair, where your liver function can start to detox these heavy metals and these toxins out of your body that have been accumulating for years. And this is how we can start to really get into a good state of health. Don't skimp on your sleep. If you want great results on this program, go to bed, switch off. And if you miss out, on one night, then try and just make sure that the next night you're back onto getting into bed at a decent hour. This alone, guys, can have so many far-reaching effects to your health. All of them are good. They're very positive. So this is literally the science of what happens when you sleep. So good luck. We're into week 3. Go get them, guys. Go to bed early. Thanks.